Hi everyone, it's Diane Evans with stampinwithdiane.com. I'm an independent Canadian Stampin' Up demonstrator here in the interior of British Columbia. So this I have pre-recorded. It's for my weekly, how did they do that technique thing that I go both on Facebook and on YouTube. So I'm going to be scheduling it where it's going to be looking like it's live. Go ahead, still make comments because I will be going in to basically answer any of your questions or anything like that. Now, this happens to be my favorite technique. Now, just remember too, if you are on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe, give me the thumbs up. Also, share my video. Share my video too if you were on Facebook as well. In any event, this is my favorite of favorite techniques. And I've been kind of going up to this part of where I'm actually going to do this by showing you different embossing techniques. But embossing resist is one of my favorite techniques. And I put it emboss resist plus because we're going to do just a tiny bit more to it because honestly, I can't just stick with just plain embossing. It shows off your embossing. It brings out elements that really surprise you and everything else like that. But what you want to do is you definitely, this is one that will be one of those ones that you may refer to quite a bit. So what you want to do is, and I've gone ahead and I've kind of done a fun fold with this card as well. So we are going to be doing, there's so many different things that you can do emboss resist with. I love doing it with snowflakes. You could do it with leaves. You could do it with so many different things. So we're going to be using this Joyful Flurry stamp set. Now, I'll just bring this stuff out and I'll show you what the measurements are. This is Highland Heather. It's 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4.25. We're just going to go in and we are going to use our bone folder and make sure that we've got a really good score on there as well. I'm just going to move this off to the side. I also have a piece of Pool Party, and I've run it through with the Wintry 3D embossing folder. Now I had to do it on two different sides because it's only the small one, so it would have only had the embossing on one side, so I wanted it to be on both sides. So I don't think I'm going to attach that yet. There's a few things that I want to be able to do on it first. I also have a piece of, this is basic white. This one actually happens to be, I just got to see what the measurements are. It's 3 inches by 11 inches, and I've scored it at 5.5 inches. Just going to go and put that no, it's actually 3 inches by 10.5 inches, and I scored it at 5.25 because I want that to go right across there. Now I haven't decided whether or not if I want to put some ribbon around this bottom part here. So that's the reason why I basically have not put this card together. And then what I'm going to do is I have a piece that is 2.75 by 5 inches. That's going to go there. That's Pool Party. And then I want this piece to go on the inside or on the inside of that layer. And this is what's going to pop it up. And then we're going to go to the inside. So you're going to have two insides to this card. I also cut this die from the Frosty Flurries one here. And I cut a few of those snowflakes out as well. So this is the part that we're actually going to go ahead and we're going to go on there. So we want to, as the instructions say, is go ahead and prep your cardstock with the embossing buddy. Don't forget about the embossing kit. It's an amazing kit. Comes with the tray, the brush, the tweezers, and then of course the embossing buddy. I happen to have one from before. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm just going to get this. I'm preparing it so that that static won't be there. Now, we're going to be needing Versamark for this, and also very, very important, we're going to be using white embossing powder on this particular one. Now, it's a little bit more difficult when you stamp white on white to see the images. But we should be okay now. I don't know where I put that big, oh, here's my big image there. All right. So what I kind of want to do is I'm going to fill in with some of these smaller ones, but you want it to have a bit of a look to it. Like you want it not to be right completely even. So I'm just going to go in. I'm going to put one there. And I can see it off to the side. I'm going to put another one. Oh, probably. Let's kind of put that there. And I shouldn't have done that. I know that now. I'm going to put some more right up in here. And I can do another one right up here. And then I think we have another one that I can stick in about like this. Now, I want to put some smaller filler ones in there, but I cannot see where everything is. So I'm going to come in, first of all, with my embossing powder. And let's go ahead and get that embossing powder on there. So I always go ahead and put this on with, I want to make sure that I'm not touching any of that. Oh dear. Yeah, okay, I think we're okay over here in this corner. Once we put this embossing powder on here, you'll be able to see where it all goes. And if we have any halos, we'll remove those halos now as we do it. There's one right up here. So I'm just going to come in with a brush, another brush. The other one's a little bit too big. Got that like that. Now I'm going to come in with my smaller snowflake. I happen to know this snowflake I have issues with halos because of how big it's cut. So I'm just going to tap it lightly. And I'm just going to fill in some of those spots. Let's see if that's enough on there as well. So like I say, you're kind of seeing where all this is going. Now I can't remember where I put that other one. There, I think. Actually, that didn't go too bad. Okay, that'll be good. All right. So very difficult when it's white on white. And you got to make sure that you don't overheat your embossing powder. Just going to come take some of those things off. And I am going to come in with my tweezers and use that for setting it. And of course, we'll use our heat tool. Now we can go ahead and we can use the high setting with this particular one. So let's just get it warmed up. We'll just cover that embossing or Versamark. Oops. And you know, while I had that Versamark and the white embossing powder, I probably should have gone ahead and maybe stamped on that Highland Heather. When you're doing this with the heat tool, you want to kind of turn it off to the side so that you can see that you're embossing it. You can tell it's embossed because it takes away that dull look on there. If you do not get it completely heat set, you're going to rub that embossing powder off. All right, let's see where we're going with this. Still a few. There we go. We have that set like that. All right. Now, the next part that we're going to do is I think I'm going to come in, and this is the strip that's cut from there, and I'm going to do that and get the embossing completely out of the way. So we want to prep our strip, use our Versamark, and we're going to use this fantastic saying that says it's a season of magic and wonder. I should check to make sure that that's even. And you know what? We did okay with that. So I'm just going to quickly use the embossing powder with that. And we're going to also use our tweezers with this as well. Again, I never use a plastic spoon in my embossing powder because of the static. And then you end up with embossing powder all over your workstation. All right, so let's just quickly heat set that, and then we can get ready to do the card or the embossing resist on there, because that is the magic. Now, when it's really interesting, when you heat this cardstock up, now that was Highland Heather. Take a look at this. See how different it looks? It will go, once it cools off, it will change color back to the Highland Heather color. All right, so this is now what we want to do is we are going to come in with some ink, and this is where we're going to start the resist technique. So I'm going to come in with my pool party, and this is one of the old stamp sets because I contaminated my pool party. So we're just going to go in and we're just going to sponge, and we're going to sponge in different spots because I could use Highland Heather, but I'm going to actually use Orchid Oasis with this, even though it is going on Highland Heather. I have to go ahead and get another pool party in the new inks. Now, see, we're not getting too much with this right now. Nothing's really showing up too much. All right, so I'm going to go in with my Orchid Oasis. And like I say, we're still not really seeing too much happening with this. Because there's one part more that I want to do on this particular card. All right. I think what we might even do is come in with a bit more pool party. It's kind of showing up. You can kind of see a little bit. I'll show you what it's looking like right now. Let's go get a bit more pool party. So this is what it's kind of looking like right now, but it's still not doing the resist like we want it to. So let me just add a bit more pool party on here. And that's going to bring up our color, the back color of our cardstock. This pool party and the Orchid Oasis looks so pretty together. Okay, so then I'm going to come back in with my, Stampin' Scrub because I want to clean off those stamps that I have the Versamark on, because I'm going to be stamping with those now. And again, that little tiny one. And we might as well clean off that stamp while we're at it. Okay, now this is where I think the magic really starts to come in. So I'm coming in with my, my Orchid Oasis. Just to let you know, this happens to be episode number 26. And like I say, I am in Vienna right now. And this is pre-recorded. All right, so I'm just now going to come in and stamp, some of these different Orchid Oasis stamps. Now you see, I don't want to get a halo, so I'm going to be very careful of where I'm stamping that. And I think we'll even put a tiny bit of even this one on there. Just like that. And this little one here will be good here. One there. And then I guess what we could do is maybe put a couple of these little ones on there. I want to make sure that there's no halos there. There's one right down there, so we kind of want to cover that. There we go. Now, there is kind of what's happening with that. Let's get those quickly cleaned off. You can see me getting that Orchid Oasis all over the place here. There we go. All right, now this should be dry at this point. We want to make sure that it does dry. So then what we want to do is I'm coming in. You can come in with a tissue. I'm coming in with some paper towel. And what we're going to do is on your instruction sheets here, when cool, you'll use that blending brush over there. And then you want to burnish these embossed edges. So watch this. See how it is like that? Now I'm just going to take this, and by doing this burnishing, now what I've done is I've removed that ink and all the other inks, the ones that I've stamped over top of. And I've removed it off. And now that's given me where it's resisting that embossed image. Pretty impressive, right? All right. So like I say, this part is going to go right on here. Now, see, that part didn't work so great there. It kind of looks like there's a bunch of blotches on there. So I'm actually going to come in. You know what? I'm going to leave it. I'm okay with that. And I'm going to attach this piece. And we're just going to put that onto this piece here. Got a bit of wiggle room, so we want to go in and do that. Then this piece is going to go right onto this basic white piece as well. And now, like I say, I have to decide, am I going to put a tiny bit of ribbon on this? And I think I might. So this is just going to go onto here. Now, on this part here, this is where I'm going to put some ribbon. And it's just going to be kind of a faint type looking ribbon. It's the Pool Party sheer ribbon. So I'm just going to go ahead and put some tear and tape on the back here. I always like to use tear and tape, especially when I'm using ribbon, especially if somebody saves your cards for a while. This ribbon, if you use just a plain seal or something like that, it could tend to dry up, I guess. And it's not like it's wet, but it could dry up a little bit. So what we want to do is we're just going to come in like this across here. I'm hoping that this is going to be okay in this spot. Let me see. Just got to kind of, yeah, that should be okay. And I'll just cut this off. And then I'm going to use the tear and tape again and just put it over top. And that's going to seal the deal. Just there and there. Okay. And that piece is going to go right onto here. You can kind of see a bit of a line, and that's because of the embossing folder being like the little embossing folder. This mini embossing folders are great to use in our mini cut and emboss. So that's just going to go onto there. And then we have to decide, what are we going to stamp here? I think I'm going to come in with this beautiful big snowflake. And we're just going to put partial on there. So it's just going to go like that. And then I'm also going to put it on the inside of the card, but I'm going to do it up here. And then I can come in with one about there and there and there. And that's not what I want you to do. So I'm just going to turn that over. We're going to stamp that again here. And then we can just put another one there and there. There we go. And then at that point, you can decide whether or not if you want to put something on, another sentiment on the inside. Okay, so those are kind of drying. I always like mine down in that bottom corner, but let's see. We'll put it up in the top corner this time, because on the inside of this front one is at the bottom. So this piece is 3 3/4 by 5 inches. Okay, let's put this embossed resist card right here. Put it right in the middle. There we go. And then this part can go right here. We're going to pop that up. And you know what? I was thinking of doing a faux bow there, but I think we're okay. I'm going to just leave it like that. I'm going to come in with my dimensionals and put those here and here. Just like that. And then I also had a couple of these that I could put on here. Maybe just the one. Yeah, I think I'll do just the one. Now, this will be posted tomorrow, 9:05 Pacific time. The sheet. It'll also have some of the measurements, because this one's got quite a few measurements actually on it. I will have a picture of this card on there, and then put your sample of the emboss resist. Now, the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come in with these pool party. I could even use these ones, but I'm just going to use those embellishments. I think I'll use the pool party ones. And there we go. Oops. There, we'll put that right there. And these are the adhesive back sequins and gems. Okay, so we have, whoops, that's just not quite in the middle. So there's our embossing resist with a fun fold card as well. And I hope you enjoyed that. Like I say, tomorrow it will be there on my Facebook group. You have to come down here, get the link to the Facebook group. This is episode number 26, and this whole form will be filled out there for 9:05 on November the 16th. So I hope you enjoyed that. Don't forget, give me the thumbs up, share my video. And like I say, you'll be able to download this tomorrow at 9:05. So thanks again. And don't forget, remember to create because it's great for the soul. Bye for now.